What is up, guys? Patrick from NintenTalk here, and this is episode 16 of the Planet Nintendo Afterthought. So what is this segment exactly? Just to give you guys kind of a refresher, this is kind of giving an overview of the previous podcast that aired yesterday. Bobby and Joe both did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, I could not make it. I was a little bit sick and my voice was completely gone. So that's a terrible combination if you're trying to host a podcast. But basically on this Afterthought segment, kind of overview the podcast and choose one of the topics that I kind of want to go in depth. Joe, I believe, did the last Planet Nintendo Afterthought, so big props to him. But I wanted to take this one, especially since I wasn't on this episode, which I was kind of bummed about because we had a pretty good show. But I wanted to go in depth more. The topic that I brought, I think that Bobby and Joe both did a fantastic job in kind of outlining and giving their thoughts on it. But I wanted to kind of go a little bit more in depth on the customization of the Nintendo Switch and all the accessories and the new trend of people modding their Nintendo Switches was, I mean, I saw that coming from a mile away, to be completely honest. You even look at the interface of the Switch. It's very bare bones. There's no themes yet, which the 3DS has. And I think it started with the Joy-Cons, and there's been so many different variations now. We've had the ARMS one, the Splatoon 2 one, the Mario one, so there's definitely a bunch of ways to customize your Switch currently, but I feel like we always want more, especially with the Pro controllers. We've had the Splatoon 2 and the Xenoblade one. So there is a big community. If you guys aren't aware, I would definitely look into it because it's pretty cool. There's a big community of people modding their Switches, buying different kind of Joy-Con shells and taking them apart. For me personally, I would love to do it. I'm just a little bit scared because there are a lot of steps to it, and I feel like I would just lose screws, and I don't know. It's very, very taxing, and you make one wrong move, I feel like your Joy-Con is ruined. So I'm not brave enough to do that yet. There are people in my area that do it, so I'm kind of looking into it more and more. I would love a translucent green one to match my N64. I think that would be incredible. And you could do it to the back plate of the Switch too. So I think that modding and customizing is a very cool new trend that I think it's expected, but it's very cool to see it actually in practice. I think Nintendo will release more and more themed accessories. Like, I think obviously they're going to continue the trend of the Joy-Con. I think that's pretty obvious, pretty safe assumption. And also the Pro Controller. I think that they're going to come out with more and more variations. Maybe we get a Kirby one, maybe we get a Yoshi one, a Fire Emblem one would be kind of cool. Pokemon. I think Pokemon Joy-Con would be awesome. So it's going to be interesting to see all of the different variations that Nintendo comes out with. And I think that people are really going to be excited by them. I'm not going to really talk about the price because the price of the accessories I think is still pretty high. And I think that that's another reason why the modding community is so large, because the shells pretty much, they're not really that expensive. If you're buying them from someone else that does it, it's, I think, an extra like $50 charge. So you're looking probably about like $130 for customized Joy-Cons if someone does it. But they really do look like fantastic. I've seen, like I said, the translucent ones. I've seen people have like SNES ones, and like people just go all out. So basically my topic was, is Nintendo going to kind of introduce customization options like that, and should they? I think they should. I think that Nintendo kind of, it would be nice to give back to the community a little bit. And especially with this trend being so popular, I think that Nintendo could capitalize it and really kind of make their own customization options and make a lot of money off of it. So I think it starts with, and this is kind of something that I'm taking from Xbox a little bit. They have a fantastic program where you can customize your controller. It isn't an extra fee, but you literally can pick the button color, the shoulder button color. Like, you can totally customize and pimp out this controller, which it's really cool. I've never done it myself, but I've seen people make their own controllers, and you can theme it to pretty much whatever. I've seen people make like Spider-Man ones and like just crazy ones that you can do. You can even engrave your name on it, which I think is a really cool touch. I think Nintendo could definitely capitalize on that, kind of build your own controller, if they came up with kind of like a website to do that. And this idea isn't that far-fetched, because I've actually seen, I believe it's in Japan only, where you can customize your entire Switch bundle. You can choose each color of your Joy-Con. You can choose the color of each of the straps. It's not as detailed as the Xbox controller, where you can choose like your button colors and stuff, but it's definitely kind of on the right track. So I think that if Nintendo implemented that with kind of a create your own Pro controller, I think that that would definitely work out and people would be on board. If it was like an extra $20 or $30 charge, I think that people would still be on board. The fact that you're getting a Nintendo quality product without you having to worry, if it's going to mess up your equipment or whatever. So I think that that would be definitely a cool thing. I would also love to see Nintendo bring over the similar service that they have in Japan, where you can pretty much just build your own Switch. For people that are just getting a Switch, it's a really cool option. And if they introduced it, maybe I would take a chance on it and kind of sell my Switch that I have now. I don't know if I could do that, though. It's my baby. But I think that there's definitely options out there for Nintendo to kind of capitalize on this market, that create your own Pro controller, maybe even create your own Joy-Con, maybe create your own dock. I think that the dock is another thing that I wanted to emphasize a little bit more. We've gotten one, I think, special edition dock, and that was the Monster Hunter one. And honestly, it was a few etchings. It had the pattern of, the logo of Monster Hunter, but it really wasn't that special. If I'm being completely honest, I would love to see them do bigger and better things. Like I could just imagine if they did the Super Mario Odyssey Switch, like actually in the vein of Mario, like if they made a red dock, like, I don't know, just little things like that could be introduced to the community. I feel like we would just eat it up. Like, people are always trying to be unique and customize their own equipment. So I don't know, to make a long story short, I think that Nintendo should do it. I think it would only help them. It would take a little bit of work, and they would have to design these websites and stuff like that. But I think it would be worth it, because people would be just really into it, and it would kind of inspire people to kind of create their own things. I don't think the modding community is a bad thing. I think that anything that inspires creativity and gets gamers excited about things is positive in my mind. I don't know how personally Nintendo feels about it, but I don't know. I'm digging it. And I'm thinking of doing it myself. I'm thinking of going for the translucent. Like I said before, the green translucent just looks incredible. Let me know what you guys think of the modding community, though, and should Nintendo capitalize on this? Should they make their money? Not that they've made enough money already. Let me know also if you have modded your Switch, and what does it look like? Yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for those of you who tuned into the podcast this past week. And like always, look forward to the next podcast, which airs every Wednesday, and the Afterthoughts airing every Thursday. Thank you so much again, guys. This is Patrick from NintenTalk, and I will see you later. Have a good one.